Hi, Andrew here, and I want you to take Justin Trudeau's advice. Wait, what? Okay, first, yes, I actually used his name instead of using his title, Blackface Hitler. Because I don't mean take Justin Trudeau's advice from last week, which is, invoke the War Measures Act and roll out the stormtroopers to head stomp grannies in mobility scooters. No. I don't mean that advice. I mean Justin Trudeau's advice of 6 months ago, to thank a trucker. So, in taking his advice and in taking my own advice, thank you, truckers. Thank you, truckers. Thank you, truckers. I actually recorded this video some time ago, before Blackface Hitler and Jameet decided to bring the hammer of state down on a peaceful protest of grannies and kids in bouncy castles because, well, no, different subject of a different video. I recorded it, but I recorded it at a time when the boys were in bed and my wife was in bed and my usual animated behavior during these videos and the volume with which I express them and the language with which I use in them, I deemed it a little inappropriate. So the video was very quiet, very soft, and it just really wasn't my oeuvre. It really wasn't. And so here I am re-recording this video. Now, fast forward a couple of weeks, and what we have seen, there's more. When I made the original video to thank the truckers, this was after Der Führer out in Alberta, Kenny, dropped sanctions, or dropped restrictions. And when fat flobberworm fascist Ford here in Ontario did the same. And they got Adolphe Leger, whatever, Quebec, to do the same. More provinces, province after province, dropping restrictions. Meanwhile, Blackface Hitler goes full bore into martial law. Well, I record this the morning after he got his nose smacked and he decided not to invoke martial law. Thank a trucker. Thank you, truckers. Thank you, truckers. Thank you, truckers. Because the only way this arrogant man-child gave up his decision to give himself supreme executive power in perpetuity was if he got spanked, and he got spanked hard. The Canadian Liberals have been the subject of intense ridicule for several days now. The far-left New York Times, reliably whacked-out lefty newspaper, said words to the effect of, protests make you uncomfortable, but they are a part of the democratic process, and you can't be invoking martial law just because you don't like their goals. And they said, we don't like the New York Times editorial board. We don't like the goals, or we don't agree with the truckers' goals, but you have to agree with their right to express them. Blackface Hitler is the subject of tremendous ridicule worldwide. It's only the bootlickers at the Washington Compost, Jeff Bezos' blog, the only major paper that actually agreed with him outside of the, his CBC, CTV, Global News, Toronto. Even the Toronto Star fell out of love with him. And I mean, when you've lost the Red Star over Toronto, Blackface, you got a problem. But all of this came about because of the truckers and the bad press that he got for bringing this down, especially in light of trucker protests in the 6 figures of people in Europe and in Australia and in New Zealand. And while there are some ugly videos coming out with the Aussie and New Zealand cops have been doing, there's nothing like those fascist goobers in the RCMP stormtroopers stomping little old ladies and then boasting about it on their social media. The worldwide protests and how they were handled contrasted with Blackface Hitler's method of dealing with our protest, made stark the reality that our liberal Prime Minister is fundamentally illiberal, and that our leader of the Labour-supporting Working Man's Party, the NDP, is fundamentally opposed to blue-collar workers expressing their genuine desires. The masks have been ripped off, and they have been ripped off because of the truckers. So say it again. Thank you, truckers. Thank you, truckers. Thank you, truckers. I read in the paper that now that the martial law has been lifted or has been canceled, they're ready to go back. Is Blackface Hitler and his sock puppet sing? Hey, there's a good name for him. Blackface Hitler and sock puppet sing. Are they going to re-invoke martial law? This will be interesting to see. Will, in following the provincial premiers and the dropping of restrictions and COVID idiocy, will the Canadian government lift the Berlin Wall around Canada? Will we no longer be a prison colony? That remains to be seen. But in the space of 3 weeks, we've gone from a permanent emergency with an underclass, a separate dirty other in this country, to major movement away from it. Whom do we have to thank? Thank a trucker. They don't just bring the supplies to your store, the food to your grocery. They don't just bring my new car, which is hopefully going to arrive next week from Alabama. They brought the idea that we are a free people. I've used the expression many times. I'm a free-born Englishman. I hardly have a drop of British blood in me, but I am a multi-generational Canadian. I am a free-born Englishman. And truckers of all races, religions, backgrounds have reminded a significant portion of this country and people worldwide that we are inherently free. So say it with me. Thank you, truckers. Thank you, truckers. Thank you, truckers.